The room is quiet, not empty. Quiet. A narrow metal bed rests beneath a barred window. Morning light reaches the floor but does not warm it. The walls are painted a dull green, chosen for durability, not comfort. A young woman sits upright, hands folded. She's been told this is a routine medical procedure. She's been told it will help her. No one has explained what help means. Down the hallway, a cart rattles. Paperwork is signed. A schedule is kept. Outside the building, life continues without interruption. Inside, a future is being removed without ceremony. She will wake up sore. She will be told to rest. She will be discharged back into the system that brought her here. Years later, she will ask a doctor why she cannot have children. The doctor will read a file. The answer will already be written. This was not a mistake. It was policy, and it was repeated tens of thousands of times across the United States. At the turn of the 20th century, America was changing rapidly. Industrial cities expanded faster than housing, healthcare, or labor protections. Immigration brought new languages, new customs, and new anxieties. Poverty became visible, concentrated, and unsettling to those in power. Institutions multiplied. State hospitals, training schools, asylums, reformatories. They were presented as solutions, places of care, order, and improvement. At the same time, a new way of thinking gained legitimacy. It claimed the authority of science. It promised efficiency. It spoke in charts, pedigrees, and probabilities. Eugenics argued that social problems were biological problems, that crime, poverty, disability, and immorality were inherited. That intervention at the level of reproduction could perfect society. This was not a fringe belief. It was taught at Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. It was funded by major philanthropies. It appeared in textbooks, exhibitions, and public health campaigns. County fairs hosted better baby contests. Magazines printed family trees labeled good and bad. Legislators listened. The language was reassuring. It avoided cruelty by claiming prevention. It framed permanent harm as progress. In 1907, Indiana passed the first compulsory sterilization law in the world. It authorized the sterilization of certain institutionalized individuals deemed unfit. The law was revised after legal challenges. It was refined. It endured. Other states followed. California, Virginia, North Carolina, Oregon, Washington. By mid-century, more than 30 states had sterilization statutes on the books. Each law claimed safeguards, review boards, medical oversight, legal process. In practice, decisions were swift, based on minimal evidence, often guided by bias rather than diagnosis. The people targeted were rarely powerful. They were disproportionately poor, disproportionately disabled, disproportionately women, disproportionately people of color. In California, the most aggressive program in the nation took shape. State hospitals sterilized patients at a pace unmatched anywhere else in the world. Doctors kept careful records. They believed they were serving the public good. A teenage girl labeled feeble-minded after failing an intelligence test. A woman committed for postpartum depression. A man imprisoned repeatedly for petty theft. Sterilization was justified as rehabilitation, as mercy, as cost-saving. Patients were told it would cure them, or shorten their confinement, or protect them from future hardship. Consent forms existed, but consent was fragile when refusal meant indefinite detention. Many never knew what had been done. In Virginia, Carrie Buck's case moved through the courts. She was poor. She had been assaulted. Her mother had been institutionalized. Her infant daughter was labeled deficient based on a single observation. The state argued heredity. The court agreed. In 1927, the Supreme Court upheld forced sterilization, not narrowly, not reluctantly, decisively. The opinion declared that society could prevent those deemed unfit from continuing their kind. The ruling was never overturned. After that decision, the pace increased. Sterilizations were scheduled alongside other procedures, logged, reported, normalized. Nurses prepared patients without explanation. Surgeons worked efficiently. Administrators met quotas without calling them quotas. The system rewarded compliance. Doctors advanced their careers. Institutions received funding. There were voices of concern. A few physicians objected. Some clergy protested quietly. But the machinery continued. In North Carolina, a eugenics board approved thousands of cases. Many involved young women on public assistance. Social workers initiated referrals. Board members reviewed files in minutes. One woman was sterilized at 14, another after being deemed promiscuous, another because she was considered uneducable. Records describe them in fragments: age, race, diagnosis, not hopes, not dreams. In prisons, inmates were offered sterilization in exchange for parole. In hospitals, patients were told it was necessary for release. In schools for the disabled, children were altered before they understood reproduction. Families were often excluded. When they objected, they were dismissed. The turning point did not come with a single revelation. It arrived gradually, through accumulation. The same ideas began to appear elsewhere. In Germany, American eugenics laws were studied by Nazi policymakers. They cited USS statutes as precedent. After World War II, the association became uncomfortable. Public enthusiasm cooled, but the laws remained. Sterilizations continued quietly into the 1950s, 60s, and beyond. In some states, they lasted into the 1970s. Records were lost, or destroyed, or never kept. Many victims learned the truth only decades later, often through infertility diagnoses, sometimes through lawsuits. Accountability was rare. Doctors claimed they followed the law. Officials said they acted in good faith. The courts largely agreed. Apologies came late. Compensation, when offered, was limited. Some states acknowledged harm, others did not. The legal framework that allowed it still exists in fragments. Buck v. Bell has never been overturned. Today, the buildings remain. Repurposed, renamed. The files sit in archives, incomplete, silent. The people affected are older now. Some have passed without recognition, without record. The policy ended. The consequences did not. This history does not announce itself loudly. It does not rely on spectacle. It persists in the quiet spaces between paperwork and memory. It asks a simple question, one that has not expired. Who gets to decide whose future matters? And once that decision is made, how easily it is carried out.